Welcome to BookWorthy, Barb.
Thank you, Valerie. I really appreciate your podcast and thankful that you do it.
I'm so happy to have you here. Now, to start us off, I want to start with, what is your favorite piece of clothing to wear?
Okay. Well, you would think it would be shoes from the book, but it's not. I'm like a 3-shoe, maybe 4. Lots of Ugg boots. I like Ugg because it's cold here. But no, and I'm really not a big clothes person, as you can see. Just basic. I would say my favorite is the top. Which just doesn't really express it very well, but just something that, because it kind of frames your face and kind of, I don't know, hopefully helps you give the impression you want to give. And I guess I don't know.
It's kind of fun to think about it because I'm not a big clothes person either, but there's definitely pieces in my closet that give me confidence, that help me, if I want to portray myself in a certain way, it's like, okay, it's going to be one of these 2 or 3 shirts. And it's neat how clothes can do that for us. Even like, what is it? Growing up, I did a lot of horseback riding, and there is just something about putting on cowboy boots that just changes your demeanor. I can't say what it is, but I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But
No.
I love how clothes communicate, just a way of, expressing ourselves and our personality and giving us confidence. So now we're talking about book 3 of your Armor of God series, which is Tommy and the Good News Shoes, which follows Hazel and the Belt of Truth and Oliver and the Breastplate of Righteousness. Right. Now, what was your inspiration for this series of books?
Okay. I wasn't a writer like so many authors before this. Came to Christ, first of all, late in life. I was in my 30s and started doing a lot of Bible studies. So I was so interested in learning more, of course, and did Priscilla Shire's Armor of God study. And that really impacted me. And I was babysitting for a friend one night, and with her kids, Oliver and Hazel. And the idea just came to me. I was reading books to them, off of their shelf. That how cool would it be to have a book to read to kids that teaches them a little bit about, the armor of God, just to get it, a conversation starter. I mean, my books are real simple and for kids, probably. Well, my grandson was 2 and he started reading them, and so I guess it depends on the kid, but anywhere from 2 to 8, probably, I would guess. So yeah, just simple books for that age. Yeah.
Well, I love what you've done with the books is you've taken something as deep as the armor of God, and you really have simplified it to be understandable to young kids. Your book doesn't have a lot of Bible fluff or Christianese. It is really simple and to the point, and takes your characters in situations that kids experience every day. Like with Tommy and the Good News Shoes, they're at Sunday school, and Tommy's having a hard time going into class and separating from his parents. And golly, I serve in children's ministry, so I see that like on a weekly basis. So it's like that is an experience kids have, and they can truly relate to that. And I love that. Now, you said that you were babysitting and that Hazel and Oliver are real kids in your world?
They really are. Yes. One of my really good friends that I'm still in contact with, her kids were like 3 and 5 at the time. And now they're like 14 and 15, or, 14 and something like that. So yeah, it's been a while getting me from there to here, but then I've learned a lot. I mean, my first book was like, the Truth About Hazel's Cookie was like 40 some pages. I didn't know how many pages. I didn't know, a lot of different things about it. But I'm learning, and it's been fun.
I think that's one of the reasons why I enjoy writing books and being in this space of encouraging other authors like yourself, is that, golly, just books just bring us in, and there is always something to learn. There's always something to do. There's always Another round of edits, another picture to look at. There's always something, and that's one of the things I really enjoy about the writing process. What about Hazel and Oliver, about their personalities, really comes through into the books themselves?
Let's see. That's a good question. Well, actually, I have to be truthful. Some of the actual plot lines were from my kids' experiences when they were growing up, and I kind of turned it into Oliver and Hazel. So it's more my kids, really, when they were little. Like the first story, Hazel, the truth about Hazel's cookie. That one, actually, I'm sorry, that one really is that one came from God and got me started. But they all came from God, of course. But the second one, Oliver's Battle, came from a story or from an experience with my son and daughter. I don't know if you've read that one yet, but it's the little boy goes in and with his new suit of armor and runs into his daughter's or his sister's room and scares her because he's running in with all the sword and all the pieces. And that kind of really did happen with my son and daughter. And my daughter ran into the bathroom and, because she was scared and had to be coaxed out. And we had a lesson about that. But and then the third book, of course, takes place. I guess they weren't all on my kids, but some of the ones coming up are on my kids too. But yeah, they've just been different experiences that have truly happened to me. So yeah, the one at Tommy the Good News Shoes takes place at church, and there really was a child back in the day that, of course, had trouble, wanting to stay, and so that's where and had the shoes that sparkled and made music. So that's where that one came from. So.
Too fun. Yeah, what is it? There's always that one kid that has the squeaky shoes. Like they're intentionally to have like the dog squeaky toy sound. And it's one of those, I laugh so hard whenever I hear that. It's kind of one of those like, I either know where my kid is or I'm totally annoyed by my kid if they are wearing the shoes.
Yeah, true. True.
I love how your own experiences in babysitting as well as being a parent have really inspired how you not just see kids, but how you communicate to kids. You talked about this a little bit, how Hazel and Oliver inspired you to write for kids, but was that something that came easily, or did you ever think about writing for children?
I really didn't. And I still feel like I try to go to conferences, but I really think I need to go back and just take a English course, a writing course. And I'm planning to do that, but just finding time, even though I'm semi-retired, it's still hard to find time to get everything done I want to do. But yeah, no, unfortunately, I don't have that background. I wish I did sometimes. It would make things easier.
Well, I think motherhood is its own training ground, right? So
true.
Get a lot of experience with kids in that time frame. Now, how many kids do you have?
I do have two, of course, grown. My daughter lives in California, and her husband and two boys. And then I have a son here in Kansas City and his beautiful wife. And they have a girl and a boy. So they're all four grandkids are under the age of 5. So,
oh, wow.
So our vacations are kind of crazy right now.
A lot of getting down on the ground and playing with those little ones. So sweet.
Trying to get on the
ground. Yeah, I hear you.
I had a hip surgery.
There are days I struggle. Too fun. Now, I think. And you talked about Priscilla Schreier's Armor of God series. What was it in that focus of the Armor of God that really impacted you?
It's just the whole thing. I have it right here on my desk. I keep it with every book. I kind of go back and reread that section, like on that piece. I don't know. I just love it, and I still love it. So I don't know that I can say any one.
It is one of those
thing, but
it is a very powerful scripture in Ephesians, and so even like as a teen, I remember drawing the armor of God. It was just one of those things that was impressed upon me at a young age. That wow, I mean, I loved knights and, fantasies and all that as a teen. And so it was just like, wow, God really saw our world and really helped make him tangible. It's one of those ideas that this, infinite God and all that he does provide for us is so we can't touch it. We can't really see it, but to have something like armor that was very visual and, you had to actively put it on.
Yes, I'm a
was such
visual
a
person.
powerful symbol.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm a real visual person. So just reminding myself every day if I feel like I'm having a hard day or whatever, just go back to those pieces and look at each one and see, if something needs to be addressed or, is the truth, is this the truth or is this right, and I'm saved.
Yeah.
So just puts things in perspective for me anyway.
It definitely does. Now, with Tommy and the Good News Shoes, what is kind of the main message you hope to communicate to kiddos when they read your book?
Ooh, that one is, of course, on the gospel of peace. So just I kind of introduced just the word peace and how that and quiet after the shoes get Tommy's attention and he calms down and he actually is enjoying the music and then everything gets quiet in the book and there's a chance for the teacher to go on with the lesson, which of course is the gospel shoes of peace. So just learning about peace and then learning about the peace that the gospel gives you. Like I said, it's just introduced in the story. So it's really, I'm working on some, I wish I would have done this before to put in an actual book, but discussion questions at the end for the parents to go over with the kids. And I'm going to eventually have those here in hopefully a month or so on the website for the first 3 books. And then in the 4th book I'm working on, I plan to actually have it in the book, at the back of the book. So, but yeah, just so that the parent can go over those things and, at the kid's own, pace and, where they're at with their, with their learning and everything. So
I think that's what's great about the style of your book, is it is a book that kids just would want to read over and over again. It's not too boring or too in-depth, but it is really sweet, simple truths that any kid could take and to understand peace, because that is a hard concept for young minds to get on, and even adult minds for that matter.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned a 4th book. Is there another piece of the armor of God you're going to be bringing to us soon?
Yes, and it's the Shield of Faith, which is I'm really excited about. So if I had to pick a favorite, that would probably be my favorite. But you can't pick a favorite really. But, so yeah, and it's a story that initiated from experience with my daughter and myself. So yeah,
that sounds like it's one of those. The Shield of Faith is, it feels like our defense, like the only defense we have, and it's a very defensive tool, but it's not the most powerful. I hope you'll get to the sword of truth, because that'd be fun too. But
I plan to. Yeah.
Because I know for my boys, I have 3 boys, and they're more interested in weaponry than they are defensive mechanisms. True. But it's always important to talk about, we do have to defend ourselves and protect ourselves from the enemy, because his attacks don't always come in fiery arrows. It sometimes does come in little whispers. And so to be able to defend ourselves is really important to communicate to kiddos. So I'm excited to see how that comes about. And when that book hits the shelves, will be really exciting.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited too. I'm actually on your son's sword. I've got an idea for, of course, for the faith book is basically done. With almost as far as I'm concerned, but then the illustrator has to, of course, do her part. But and then I have an idea for the helmet of salvation, but the sword of the spirit, I'm still looking for an idea. So if you if you have any ideas from your sons with the swords, let me know.
Just that everything can become a weapon. Everything.
Okay. Oh, good. Good. Okay. That's a good start, actually. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Was it with
Gift
my boy?
paper. I'm sorry. Like
Yeah.
a
No, you're
from
fine.
gift
Yeah, a
wrapping
ruler, a stick, yes, anything.
roll. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Because what is it? When my son goes to Boy Scout camps, every picture that we get from the other counselors that are there, he always has a stick in his hand. And I'm just like, yep, he always wants some sort of sword or lightsaber or something.
Okay. That's a good start.
So, hey, there you go. Now, Barb, what's been the most impactful book in your life other than the Bible?
Um, well, can I use the Bible study, Armor of God Bible study? That one. There's also another book written by Jennifer Grant that is Maybe God is Like That Too, and it was her book that kind of showed me how you could take something from the Bible, some verses and scripture, and then kind of make it into your own story, for kids. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, to kind of just find the object lesson and,
yeah.
continue on that story. Because was
Right.
it, God knew us really well that we need stories to find truth. That's why the Bible is given to us, is because he knew stories was the best way to communicate his truth to us. And I think we honor him a lot when we continue to use that gifting of storytelling to communicate deeper levels of what God has already given us in his word. And so I appreciate that a lot. That's cool.
Yeah.
Now, what is your favorite children's book other than your own?
I like that Jennifer Grant's one, of course. Maybe God is Like That Too. Is obviously a favorite, and then classic Where the Wild Things Are would be one, and then also there's another current. Glennis Nellis has uh, the Mole series.
Yes, Little
I'm
Mole.
blanking out now. Little Mole Finds Hope. That's it. I think. Yeah. Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah. It's the first
Yeah,
one.
that
It's
whole
so
series is really
the whole
sweet.
series is good, but I love that first one. It's so cute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very cool. Now, what can we expect next from you? Which I'm guessing is going to be that fourth book, but is there
Yeah.
anything else we can be expecting from you?
Well, of course, and then 5 and 6, and then I plan to do a seventh book too, on prayer, since in Ephesians 6, after it goes over the armor of God, it talks about prayer. So that's how I want to tie it all together in the end. So that, and then I actually am working, on some other things too. I've got a book about a squirrel. Lucky the squirrel. If I ever get it, I want to try and get to that one too someday. And then, I've got some other ideas rolling around in there, but nothing really on paper yet. This keeps me pretty busy already.
Yes, I'd imagine so. Very neat. Now, do you think it's easier to write from the perspective of, your main characters being children, or do you think it's easier to write with squirrels and moles and other little characters?
It doesn't really matter to me, because I basically take the animal and make it like the squirrel is like a kid. I mean, in my story, the squirrel is swinging on a swing and at recess. So it's really more like a kid, but in a squirrel's body.
I love the fearlessness of squirrels. That just does embody just a kid's personality. And like, what is it? We have a friend who has a really large oak tree in her front yard, and the squirrel will throw acorns at her. Just like,
oh my goodness,
she'll try to talk to, she's like, "Hi, good morning." And he's like, "Boing."
Oh my goodness.
It's just been a very fun thing to watch her and this squirrel have their tenuous little relationship.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, we've moved, and in our new house, it's a new neighborhood, so that we don't have any real big trees. But our old house had squirrels all over the place, and I just really enjoyed watching. I kind of missed that part of it. I love my new house, but you know,
Yeah, there's something about in the new neighborhoods because they, usually tear down all the trees in order to, build the houses and such that you do
yeah,
lose those cute little things running around. So we're kind of in a
right.
newer area ourselves, and we just recently started getting more squirrels around because our trees are getting older. I'm like, yes, finally.
Yeah, yeah. I've seen a. Mhm.
Too fun. Well, Barb, where can people find out more about you and your books?
I do have a website, barbseregi.com. And then I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Yeah, yeah, all three of those.
Very neat. Well, I hope our listeners will reach out and discover more about you and your fun books and what you have coming up. Thank you so much for
Yeah,
joining us today, Barb.
thank you. I enjoyed it.
My pleasure. And thank you for joining Barb and me on this episode of the BookWorthy podcast. Check the show notes for any books or links that we discussed, and let us know in the comments what's your favorite thing to wear. And be sure to like and subscribe so we can discover more great books together. Happy reading.